This shooter is one of the best in the entire game, and it's a great frontline option, arguably the best short-range weapon out there right now. But why aren't more people playing it? What are its underrated strengths, and why is it a jack of all trades? Today, I want to cover what makes this weapon a top tier, and why I think more people should be playing it. If you're new to my channel, you can be sure to subscribe to catch more guides, informative content, and Splatoon 3 information as we near E3. Let's get into it. First up, the Splash-O-Matic actually has better run speed and swim speed by default than other weapons in its range besides the end zap. This is because it's a lightweight weapon, which is basically the equivalent of having 2 subs of swim speed and run speed up active at all times. Note that it doesn't affect your strafe speed when actually firing the weapon, but in general it makes it a little bit faster. The other big bonus this provides is using Ninja Squid. Ninja Squid requires a certain amount of swim speed in order to have your normal swim speed back, and this varies based on the weapon class. Normal weight class weapons take 6 subs, but the Splash-O-Matic, since it's a light class weapon, only needs 1 main and 1 sub, meaning Splash-O-Matics can very easily use Ninja Squid. On top of that, if you're running a mobility set, you'll be faster than other weapons too since the swim speed buff. While the Zap benefits from this as well, because its main kit has ink armor, it can't take advantage of Ninja Squid in the same way that the Splash can, giving it a big advantage. However, the main thing it has over other short-range shooters is no RNG, both when shooting and when jumping. Other short-range shooters become a lot less reliable when jumping in the air, and because jumping gives you a little bit more range, this gives Splash a way to close the gap, as well as be able to hit unconventional angles that the other shooters struggle with. It makes it very reliable at jumping and hitting shots over ledges, or just in general using it to increase your range. This means the Splash has a by far more superior mobility compared to the other 3 shooters. Another really big thing that the Splash-O-Matic has is main power-up damage up. For those who haven't seen MPU damage up weapons, the way it works is after stacking a certain amount, your damage caps at 99.9 or 99.8 damage if you're a 2-shot. Which means only slightly touching enemy ink will allow you to get killed in 1 less hit by a lot of weapons. This is more common on things like Bamboo and Pro and CDS. However, Splash-O-Matic is also able to run main power-up. But not only that, it actually requires one of the lowest amounts in the entire game. MPU for the Pro is 3 mains and 4 subs, for the Bamboo is 3 mains and 5 subs, and the CDS is 3 mains and 6 subs. Splash-O-Matic can get max main power-up with only 2 mains and 4 subs, meaning you actually have room to run other abilities on a main power-up damage weapon. The only other MPU damage up weapon to have this much gear freedom is the L3, which is a huge advantage. Being able to get a 3-shot with Splash makes it kill time surpass all the other shooters in its range, besides 52, which contests it the most. However, 52 has way more shot spread and deviation, and way less mobility, so Splash could take advantage of sharking in, getting quick kills, and getting back out. The mobility plus main power-up is a devastating combo that really helps the weapon shine. And, again, it doesn't take away from other gear, meaning you can run things like Stealth Jump, Ninja Squid, or high amounts of swim speed on your builds. The strength that most people know Splash-O-Matic for, though, is its painting capabilities. It paints a lot, the best out of any shooter in its range, even able to contest things like Junior. It just turfs over such a large area that you're able to get a fast amount of specials. The Neo Splash may be 210 points for special, but you still get a good amount of bomb rushes for it, and the paint allows you to contest zones and other areas way better than most weapons, which gives you a high quantity of specials. But for the Vanilla Splash, this is actually even better. The Vanilla Splash-O-Matic is 170p, meaning it's the fastest inkjet weapon in the entire game. For maps where inkjet is really good to have all the time, Splash has a very solid niche since it's able to constantly get inkjets, and having to paint over the weapon will only lead to you getting jetpacked. So for good stages for inkjet like Camp Triggerfish, the Vanilla Splash really shines with its niche. While I'm talking about kits though, the Neo Splash is an actually perfect kit for it. The burst bombs allow you to take advantage of mobility even more, and you can use them to finish off people who get outside of your range. They perfectly complement the weapon's ability to get in, and give it a poking tool for longer range. The Bomb Rush also complements the high amount of paint, making it even harder to contest objectives and force people out of positions. Both the kits the Splash-O-Matic has are good, but the Neo Splash is an exceptional kit for the main weapon synergy, giving it a lot more potential abilities and ways it can move in, which is really great for the weapon. The Splash-O-Matic has a lot of strengths that I've listed, but what makes it so great isn't just these strengths, but the fact that they all play into each other. The paint gives it a lot of options in terms of not having to approach and allows it to play supportively when needed. The burst bombs and mobility of the kit gives it a lot of movement options and poking tools to be able to close the gap. The MPU helps it with kills when it does get into fights and makes it much more of a close-range threat. And the reliability of the jumps gives it options other weapons don't have. Splash is able to deal with almost any comp and situation because it has so many tools available to it and they all play into each other. I could go on and keep talking about these strengths, and you'll see how one funnels into the other. The paint means the weapon has to be approached more. The short-range kill time and mobility is complemented by the main power-up damage up. The list goes on. Compared to other short-range shooters, Splash is way more versatile and way faster, and being faster is probably the most underrated strength of the weapon. Closing the distance is the hardest thing in the meta right now, because there's a lot of main power-up damage weapons and midliners with a good amount of range. Being able to be super mobile, on top of being able to run higher amounts of swim speed or ninja squid in order to close the gap more stealthily, is absolutely huge. If you play other short-range shooters, I'd recommend giving the Splash a chance. Not enough people play it, and it deserves way more credit for the strengths it has. A lot of people just seem to write it off because of its range, and I think it deserves way more recognition for what it's good at. It has so many options available that it makes it an incredibly fun weapon. So give Splash-O-Matic a chance. You may have no idea how strong it just really is.